Shalom everyone, Shavua Tov. We're in Parashat Toldot. Parashat Toldot could be like other parashot, like the previous parasha, but also Parashat Toldot especially has a very emotional connection to it if we look carefully at the story. What's the story? The story starts about Ele Toldot Yitzchak ben Avraham. These are the offsprings of Yitzchak ben Avraham, the son of Abraham. Okay, what we're talking about? We know that Yitzchak was, it says, 40 years. We're talking about Genesis chapter 25, verse 19. Okay, and Yitzchak was 40 years old when he took Rivka to be his wife. Bekachto et Rivka bat Betuel Arami mipadan Aram. So Vayetar, but she was barren. You know, it was in the family. And they prayed, he prayed, she prayed. Finally, she got pregnant. And then verse 22, Vaitrotzetzu abanim bekirba. And the boys were clubbing each other inside her. Okay? You know, shatter into, you know, clubbing till it shatters into little pieces. Okay? Now, a lot of people translate it and they were running inside her, but the running is vayarutzu. Vaitrotzetzu, that's shattering and clubbing. Okay? They were fighting inside her. She didn't know what's going on inside her. There was a war. Okay? So she was very, very upset. Why did I become pregnant? Why did I pray so much? You know, sometimes a woman is waiting so long, years, and she prays for a child. And so she went, it says, the Midrash is saying, the legend is saying, she went to ask God, what's the story? And the answer was, she went to the yeshiva of Shem and Everett. I don't want to go into it right now, but the answer she got from God, Vayomer Hashem, that's verse 23, Shnei goyim bevitnech, 2 nations in your belly, Ushnei lumim mimeich yiparedu, and 2 nations are going to come out of you. And there will be like, that's going to be the relationship. They're going to be clubbing each other for 1,000 years from now on. Okay, Vaimlo Yamei Laledet, and now the time came, and she gives birth to twins. Famous stories of this. If you read it as the story, that's a story of dysfunctional family, right? She had 2 sons, 2 twins. Vayetzer Rishon Admoni, one comes out red, all of him covered with fur of hair, and his name was Esau. After that comes his brother, holding the heel of his brother, and his name was Yaakov, because heel is Akev. Yaakov is the one who's holding the heel. Yitzchak was, Yitzchak ben 60 shana v'ledet otam, and Isaac is 60 years old, to 20 years. Vayigdelu haneharim, vayi Esav ish yodei tzayid, and they grow up, and Esav is a hunter. Ish sadeh, a man of the field. Yaakov ish tam yoshev ohalim, Yaakov ish tam. Tam means innocent, but it means also complete. And we'll see, it's a game, all of this is a game of words, because we're telling a story on 2 levels at the same time. Vayav Yitzchak et Esav, and Isaac loves Esav, ki tzayid befi, because he's a hunter. V'Rivka ohevet et Yaakov, and Rebecca, the mother, she loves Jacob. But don't you know that that's a problem? For years and years, who knows how many even generations? If the father loves one and the mother loves the other one, we're up to trouble, right? So, don't they know? They're very, very spiritual people. They're the father, father and the mother of the nation. Okay, Vayazed Yaakov Nazid, and Jacob is making a stew. One of the most famous, I think this is the most famous stew in the history of mankind. The lentil stew. Right? Vayavo Esav min hasadeh v'ayef, and Esav comes from the field, he's tired. Vayomer Esav el Yaakov aliteni na, feed me from this red thing, because I'm so tired. Al ken kara shmo Edom, that's why his second name was Edom, red. Vayomer Yaakov micha karemet bechoratcha li. So Yaakov, he's saying, you want to eat? Sell your birthright to me. Can you imagine that? You're coming home, somebody of the family made a stew, you want to eat, and they said, no, that's going to cost you your birthright. That's going to cost you, half of the inheritance. That's unheard of. It's like what kind of a name it gives to Jacob? Not so nice. ויאמר עשיו, הנה אנוכי הולך למות, and Esau's answer is, I'm going to die. למה זה לבחור? Why do I need the birthright? ויאמר יעקב יישבע לי. So Yaakov says vow, make a vow to me. וישבע לו. וימכור את בכורתו ליעקב, he sells his birthright to Jacob. So Yaakov is giving Esau lechem unezid adashim, bread and a lentil stew. From there comes the expression saying, selling your birthright for a bowl of lentils, right? Which means you're selling something, the most precious thing, for nothing, just for a bowl of lentils. Vayochal, vayesht, and he eats and he drinks. Vayakom, and he gets up. Vayelach, and he goes away. Vayivaz esav et abchora, and he despises the birthright. Vayirav ba'aretz milvad harav harishon. So we have like in every good soap opera, you have like this. We move to another story. Okay, we'll skip that story because it's not so interesting right now. We don't have so much time, and we come back to that story later on with another scene of this weird family story, right? And what is this scene? This is already chapter 27, verse 1. Vayiki zaken Yitzchak v'tichena einav mirot. And Isaac is old and his eyes cannot see. Vayikra et Esav bno hagadol. He calls Esau, his older son. Vayomer elav bni. He says, you're my son. Vayomer elav hineni, here I am. Vayomer hineni nazakanti lo adati yamuti. I'm old, I don't know when I'm going to die. V'tasana keliecha teliecha v'kashtecha. Take your weapons. Tzeh hasadeh, go to the field. Tzuda litzayid, hunt for me your hunt. Aseli matamim, make me delicacies like I love, what I love. Ve'avia li v'ochela, and bring it to me and I will eat. Ba'avu tevarchecha nafshi. So my soul will bless you. Beterem, before I die. Ve'rivka shomat bedaber Yitzchak el Esav bno. And Rebecca hears that when they talk to each other, when Isaac is telling his son Esau to bring the hunting. So as Esau is going, that's a very famous story. I hope you know the story already. And Rivka amra, veRivka amra Yaakov bna le'emor. So Rivka, she likes, who did we say she likes? Yaakov. She says, Hine shamati et avicha medaber el Esav achicha lemor. I heard your brother talking to your father talking to your brother. Havia li tzayid v'aseli matamim. Hunt for me and make delicacies for me. I will eat and I'll bless you before I die. Vata, bni, now my son, shma bekoli lasher ani metzaveh otach. So, what she says to him, I'm going to slaughter kids from the flock. I make the food that your father loves. You bring it and you fake your father doesn't see. You say that you are Esau. Okay? At that moment, we could switch the whole thing by Yaakov saying, just again, Mom, I didn't tell you, but Esau sold me the birthright. I should go right now to Dad and say, Dad, you're going to give the blessing to my brother, but he sold me the birthright. Give me the blessing. He doesn't do that. More than that, Rivka is sending Yaakov. She says, you have to go and get the blessing. Yaakov says, but Mom, what if he finds out that I'm cheating him? He's going to curse me. So like every Jewish man, he says, your curse is on me. Your curse is on me. Alai ki lelatcha bni. Okay? So, she makes the food. She also dresses the clothes of Esau. She, like every mother, she has the laundry. So she has the clothes of her sons. Okay, so she takes out her son's clothes. She dresses up Jacob. She put the skins of the little kids on his arms so they feel hairy, like his brothers. Okay? And he comes to his father. And then he says, my father, and Isaac says, that's who I am. Who are you, my son? And he says to his father, I am, Esau is your firstborn. He didn't say a lie, right? He didn't say a lie, but he lied, right? He lied. You know, you're pushing it. עשיתי כאשר דיברת אליי, I did what you talked to me. Get up, sit and eat for my hunting, so I can get a blessing from your soul. ויאמר יצחק אל בנו. So Isaac is starting to be suspicious. My son, how come you found out the hunting was very fast today, right? And he says, God, you know, he did. And he says to Jacob, come close, I want to touch you. ויגש יעקב אל יצחק אביו, so he approaches him, he touches him, but it was hairy. And he asks him, that's verse 24, אתה זה בני עשיו? Is this my son Esau? And Jacob's answer is, I am. He didn't say I am Esau, he says I am. I am what? But that he was lying. ויאמר הגיש עליו ואוכלה מצאת בני. Okay, so bring me your stuff. And then after that he eats, and he says to him, that's verse 26, you have to listen carefully because it's like, this is a very special story. ויאמר אליו יצחק אביו, so his father Isaac says to him, קשה נא ושקע לבני, approach, come to me and kiss me. ויגש וישק לו, and he approaches him and he kisses him. And then we spoke about it last week, and he says, וירח את ריח בגדיו ויברכהו. He smells the smell of his clothes and he blesses him. And he says, ויאמר ראה, says, see, ריח בני כריח שדה שברכו השם. The smell of my son is like the smell of the field blessed by God. That's very important to know. And then he gives him his blessing. Famous blessing, that's verse 28, chapter 27. ויתן לך אלוהים מטל השמיים ושמני הארץ. And God will give you the dew of the heaven and the fat of the earth. ורוב דגן ותירוש, a lot of grains and wine. יעבדוך עמים וישתחוו לך לאומים. Nations will work for you, and other nations will bow down to you. וגביר לאחיך, you'll be the Lord to your brothers, and the sons of your mother will bow down to you. עורריך ארור וברכך ברוך. Whoever curses you is cursed, whoever blesses you is blessed. That was a blessing. ויהי כאשר קהילה יצחק לברך את יעקב, ויהי אח יצור. So, as he finished blessing Jacob, right? אח יצור יצא יעקב מאת בני יצחק אביו, as Jacob just leaves, like in every good soap opera. The moment Jacob is leaving, Esau is coming. You know, those like timing. ויעש גם הוא מהטעמים, and he makes also good food, and he brings to his father. And he says to his father, יקום אביו יאכל מצאת בנו. My father, come, get up, and eat from the hunting of your son, so your soul can bless me. ויאמר לו יצחק אביו, מי אתה? And Isaac says, who are you? ויאמר אני בנך בכורך עשיו, I'm your son, your first son, Esau. ויחרד יצחק חרדה גדולה עד מאוד, and יצחק is horrified, like really big time. ויאמר מי איפה הוא רצה ציד והבא לי אוכל? So who's the one who hunted and brought it to me and I ate? מטרם טוב, before you came. ואברכהו גם ברוך יהיה, and I blessed him, and he will be blessed. Blessed he will be. וישמע עשיו את דברי אביו, ויצעק צעקה גדולה מאוד. As Esau heard the words of his father, he screamed and he yelled a bitter big yell. ויאמר לאביו, ברכני גם אני אבי. Father, bless me too, my father. Your brother came and cheated, and he took your blessing. How does Yitzchak know it was his brother? How does he know? And how come he says to Esav, I blessed him and he's going to be blessed? What's happening over here? So Esav says, calling him Jacob was for nothing. He cheats me. It's like a play of words. He does it. He stole me twice already. He took my birthright. You admit it, that you sold your birthright. So why do you deserve the blessing? Right? Nobody pushed you. Nobody forced you to tell the truth. But can't you have a blessing for me? I made him your Lord. All his brothers I made his slaves. Dagan v'tirosh and grains and wine. What can I give you? What can I give you? What a story, right? Esau is saying to his father, do you have only one blessing? Bless me too, father. And he cries. So Isaac, his father, answers, the fats of the earth will be your dwelling. And he says the same thing, but in a different way. And you're going to get the dew of the heaven from above. You will live on your sword, and you work for your brother. But you, when he is not worthy of it, you will take over. And Esau hates Jacob for taking his blessing. He plans to kill Jacob. Rivka right now knows that. And she says to Jacob, you have to run away before Esau kills you. You have to run away to my brother to Haran and marry one of his daughters. Meanwhile, chapter 28, verse 46. Vatomer Rivka Yitzchak, and Rivka says to Yitzchak, Katzti b'chayai, I can't live anymore. Mipnei bnot chet, because of the women Esau married, the local women Esau married. Im lokech Yaakov isha mibnot chet kaele mibnot haaretz, lama li chaim? If Jacob marries one of the locals, I don't need to live. That's a real, like a Jewish mother scene. ויקרא יצחק אל יעקב, ויברך אותו, ויצווהו, ויאמר לו, like, what do we learn from that? If Rivka wants to turn Isaac around, she can. Why she didn't do it in the beginning? If she knows that Esau is not worthy of the blessings, she can speak to Isaac. And Isaac, he's not a man with ego, he's Isaac, the patriarch. She could talk to him, Isaac, look, don't you see? Don't you see who's Esau? He's a murderer, he's a killer. You can't give him the blessing. He's the bad guy. You should give the blessing to Jacob. So she knows to do the job, right? Why is she taking the whole thing like around this way? Why she makes Jacob cheat? Why? How many people are so upset, like, how did Jacob do that? I know people didn't forgive him yet, right? So, after Isaac tells Jacob, go to Haran, marry the daughter, one of the daughters of your uncle, Lavan. And then he says, and the Lord God, Yevarech otcha, will bless you, V'yafrecha, will multiply you. V'yarbecha, make you a lot. V'ayita lekalamim, and you will become a commonwealth of nations. V'yiten lecha et birkat Avraham, and he will give you the blessing of Abraham. Lecha u'zarcha itach, to you and your children. Lerishtecha et eretz megurecha, and also to inherit the promised land. What do you learn from here? That Isaac never thought that Esau will continue the journey. He never thought. When he thought this is Esau, he didn't give him the blessing of Abraham, neither the inheritance of the Holy Land. He never thought Esau should get it. So if he knew, how come Rivka didn't know? Why did he, if that blessing was reserved to Jacob, he knew that the continuation of the lineage, Abraham, Yitzhak, in Jacob, it will never be Abraham, Yitzhak, and Esau. Isaac, from here we know that Isaac always knew that. He didn't have to hear that Jacob bought the birthright. He knew that from the beginning. Why did we have to go this way? All around. Confused. The blessing was reserved to him anyway. So he goes to Haran. Okay? Confused? So now we have to read what the story is really about. Because are we talking about the story of a dysfunctional family? I don't think so. Because this story looks like became what we call the book of Genesis, which is on one hand looks a story of dysfunctional family of Abraham. On the other hand, something in that book made it the most important book in the history of mankind. So what in it for us today, in our day and age? Because the message was always relevant. Even if people did not understand it to the depth and to the width of the message, people felt it. And let's see now from the Zohar, what does it really mean? What really happened over here? Because reading now the parasha, now we just read what he said. I didn't read any commentary. I just read the simple Hebrew. That every child in elementary school in Israel can read it and understand because it's very simple Hebrew. Kids of today, they speak the same language. You don't need what I just read. You don't need to be in college in order to understand. You don't need to do a PhD. Every child who knows how to read, grade 1, maybe grade 2, can read it and understand exactly what I just said. So, the ones who are reading the Torah every year, how come most of them did not notice what I just said? You know why? Because many times we read a story and we are preconditioned. The same way we were taught when we were kids how to look at it, we're looking at it right now. Who changed the story? That's the story, people, Jacob was cheating, Isaac thought Esau should be the continuation, and he never thought so. What happened over here? The Zohar has an amazing explanation. It says as follows. Ele Toldot Yitzchak. And the Zohar says, I'm reading the commentary of Rabbi. You know what, let's read the Zohar itself by the original language. That's Aramaic. If you don't know fluently Aramaic, you're not supposed to understand. That's Hebrew, that's Psalms 106. Who can verbalize the glories of God's doings and His glory? Who can verbalize it? Tachazi, come and see. Kad ba'a kutshavichu v'salik birutei kamei lemivrei alma. When the Creator came up with the desire to create this world, Hava mistakel boraita. He would look in the Torah overale, and He created the world. Which means, in the Torah, you have all the instructions of how to create the universe. I thought it's just a story. It looks like a story. He says, no, the Zohar says, that's not a story. It is encoded. It looks like a story. But in that story, you have all the codes. The inner codes? It is sometimes you click the wrong button when you're watching your computer, when you're looking at your computer screen. And instead of, a picture that was there before, you see the kishkes, you see what's behind. Formulas and formulas and formulas, you see the matrix. Because the computer does not have it. It's all formulas. Right? That's what there is. It looks to me like a picture I can understand, but that's not what it is. It's made to be like this, that you see that picture, but that's not what inside the computer. Anyway, the computer speaks another language, right? So God was looking inside the Torah and He created the universe by this, which means the Torah was there before the creation. That's the book with all the instructions. The codes are here. Okay, so the sages are asking somewhere else in the Midrash. So why do we have to read the Torah? Do we need to create another universe? No, we don't. It's enough what we've got already. But if you have to know the code in order to do what? To learn how to have control over what's happening. So you have to know the code. Whatever was created, he was looking at the Torah. Of course, this is a legend. What do I mean a legend? It hints about something deeper. And what does it mean? Again, that the rules of this universe, how it functions, are encoded inside the Torah. It's not a book of tradition, stories, religion, whatever. This is the code of how the universe is structured. Okay? And if you see something else, you don't see the truth. You see something that is external. And then it continues. Kadbara. Let me go to English right now. כשרצה לברוא את האדם, when the Creator was going to create Adam, אמרה התורה לפניו, the Torah told the Creator. Oh, the Torah it's not just the book of codes, it also have its own mouth, right? The Torah said to God, if you're creating a human being, you have to be patient. Because he's going to sin, and you're going to judge him. Why? You're going to create Adam, he's going to sin, you're going to judge him, you're going to kill him. What for? He won't be able to withstand your wrath and judgment. Amar LaKadosh Baruch Hu, so God told the Torah, Harei barati tshuva, I created repentance. I recreated teshuvah. Return. Miterem shebarati talam, before I created the universe, I already created the ability to return. Ve'im yecheta, if he sins, yachol lasot tshuva v'mchalo, he will make a tshuva, he will return back, I'll forgive him. Okay, so the Torah was okay, we can create Adam. אמר הקדוש ברוך הוא לעולם בשעה שברא אותו וברא את האדם. So then this legend continues. When God created the universe and Adam, he said, עולם עולם, universe, universe. אתה וטבעך אינם עומדים אלא על התורה. You and your nature, you're standing only on the Torah. That's what you establish on. ומשום זה בראתי בך אדם כדי שיעסוק בתורה. And that's why I created a human being, so he will toil himself in the Torah. He will be busy himself with understanding the Torah. ומשום זה בראתי בך אדם, אם לא יעסוק but if he does not study the Torah, what will happen? He wouldn't know the rules of the universe. And if he does know the rules of the universe, he's going to ruin it. הרי אני מחזירך לטוב ובוהו, the world will go back to chaos. הכל הוא בשביל האדם, וזהו שכתוב, אנוכי עשיתי ארץ ואדם עליה בראתי. And that's why it says that God is saying, I created earth. This is in Isaiah 45. I created earth, and for the purpose of that, I created humans on earth. והתורה עומדת ומאחזת לפני בני אדם, and the Torah is standing and announcing in front of people. כדי שיעסקו וישתדלו בתורה. She's calling them, begging them, study Torah. Turn yourself into Torah. Why? So you know how to live. But nobody listens. ובואו ראה, כל מי שעוסק בתורה מקיים את העולם. Whoever throws himself into the Torah and studying and applying it, He makes the world exist. He is establishing the existence of the world. Now we get that all of that was in introduction. ואין לך עבר הנמצא באדם שלא תהיה כנגדו בריאה בעולם. And every organ or part or tissue in a human being is corresponding to a creature in this universe. In the same way, כמו שגוף האדם מתחלק לאיברים, the same way that the human body is made of many, many, many organs, many, many, many tissues, many, many parts and functions, the same way, and so the human being is like a microcosmos, right? Small universe. The same way, the world, and all of them are like levels upon levels, layers upon layers, and everything interacting with everything else in a very intricate way of harmony, right? Like a symphony, when you're healthy. When they're not interacting properly, it becomes a cacophony, right? And then you feel, my body is not functioning properly. They call it today autoimmune diseases. When part of your body attacks another part of your body, okay? So why is it? It says, the whole world, כל העולם, כולל הבריות שבעולם, all of the creatures in this world, all of them, איברים, they are all different organs of one whole complete system. וכאשר כולם יתוקנו יהיו לגוף אחד ומשהו, when all of them are being corrected, there will be one body, one harmonious, complete body. והכל, הן האדם והן העולם, and all of this, Adam and the whole universe, וכדמיון התורה, they are all like the Torah. כי התורה כולה היא איברים מופרקים, the whole Torah is made of chapters, portions, verses, words. All of them are intertwined together to have this like amazing art that is called the Torah. Everything functions with everything else. When they are fixed and corrected, they will become one unified body. And then we can say, Ma rabu ma'asecha Hashem, how many are your actions, God? Kulan b'chokhmah sita, you made all of them in wisdom. Mal haaretz kinyanecha, the whole earth is yours. That's from Psalms 104. So after when all of this introduction, he comes and he's saying basically the Zohar that the whole world is one and everything is part of that. And there's not one little or big creature that is not important for the whole. Okay? So, there's a later story, like the last few years, was published in the media. You can find it also in the on other social media. The story is that in one of the big parks in Canada, they had too many wolves. And they asked around who want to take these wolves. So they sent, I think maybe it was 14 wolves or something like this, and they gave it, I think it was Yellowstone Park. And Yellowstone Park did not have wolves for 100 years already. And years went by, and few years after the wolves returned to the park, the whole park transformed and changed geographically. What? How geographically? So there's a whole research that showed what happened. As the wolves came back to the park, they were hunting in groups. And the result was that all of these deers and antelopes and all of these goats, whatever they were herding in masses, they, not just that the wolves were eating them, those deers were afraid to graze on the banks of the rivers. They were hiding in the forest. So what happens? The vegetation on the banks of the rivers grew much faster, much better, and that stabilized the banks of the rivers. That allows the beavers to create more dams. And the river started to, instead of flowing straight, they started to go around like it was before the wolves disappeared. All kinds of vegetation, so there was a lot of vegetation right now on the banks. A lot of new birds came in and to make nests on the banks of the rivers that they could not before because the banks were barren before, because of overherding. Slowly, slowly, the whole park healed itself, and the flow of the rivers changed. The whole shape changed. The vegetation changed. No birds came to settle because they were nest place. All of that because of few wolves. You take the wolves out of the park, you have no idea what's going to be the results, right? To show what the Zohar says, every creature, even the ones that look the most despicable, they have a job. They have a place. You pull them out of the chain, the food chain, you have no idea where should that go and how everything can fall apart because of that, right? So, now after this introduction, we continue with our story. The last part of the previous parasha, Parashat Chayei Sarah, speaks about Ishmael. It says that Ishmael had 12, he created a whole nation, and he had 12 presidents, or in Hebrew, Nesi'im. What is Nasi? Somebody is to be Naso, is to be elevated. Elevated, respectable people. You know, Ishmael, which is the Arab world, it's a lot about respect, about mutual respect, a lot about the balance, about respecting each other, customs, whatever. There's a lot of, and also it's a lot about, like Abraham, hospitality and grace, and it's all about the show of grace, about tradition, and so on. And also it's all about, you know, the melodies and the song and the poetry. It's very emotional, very creative, but the emotional scale. And everything is very deep. That's Ishmael. 12. Why 12? Why do we have to know about it? You'll see later on. From Esav, the Torah tells us, came from him 12 generals. Also 12 generals. Why? Esav is red. He's about the hunting and wars, and hunting and wars. It's all about fire. If Ishmael is about water, which is emotions and grace and love, so Esav is about fighting, accumulation of power and wealth and fighting and creativity. And Rabbi Zakluri is saying, you look at the fire, you never get bored. You look at the fireplace, you never get bored. It's always recreating itself. That's Esav, Edom. 12 generals. Why generals? It's not about the honor, it's about the power, about the conquest. So it was conquest about wars for many years. Now it's about economy. Like the economy, the whole thing of modern economy is about, you have to push it, you have to consume, you have to shop till you drop. You have always to change your wardrobe and your house and your cars. You have to upgrade and upgrade because economy, like fire. If it doesn't grow, it's dead. No, I already have my clothes from 10 years already. I'm okay with that. That will destroy the economy. The economy is based on people consuming what they can't afford. Right? Isn't that the Western economy? That's very Esav. That's 12 generals. That's always about the war. Always about the wars of fights, of commerce, of acquiring, controlling, fighting and conquering markets. And what was the all the wars in the past? It's about markets, conquering markets. Now they realize, you pay somebody else to fight. Let them fight. We can play golf, but they will fight. Let them kill each other. But meanwhile, we have to develop new kinds of weapons all the time because, the economy has to grow. If you sold them the airplanes are good for the next 100 years. They won't buy anymore, right? Everything has an expiration date. Everything. Why? Because you always in the lacking. Why? You'd never have the last model. It didn't come out yet. It's coming soon. And you have to buy it, right? So, that's Esav. So, come and see. The Zohar says, that's verse 6. I'm reading from Rabbi Ashlag's commentary, Sulam. Ve'ele Toldot Ishmael. The previous paragraph, in the last paragraph, which is the last paragraph of Chayei Sarah, previous parasha, it says, these are the offsprings of Ishmael, 12 presidents, 12 honorable people of power and glory. Okay? Then it says immediately after that, these are the generations of Yitzchak. Would you think that Yitzchak has only 2 children and Ishmael has 12? Doesn't sound right. It's like, it looks like Esav is better and Yitzchak is less. However, we know that Yitzchak, he brought to the world what? Esav that had 12 generals, and Jacob brought to the world 12 tribes. So you have 12 Ishmael, 12 Esav, 12 Jacob. You see the picture? Everything is organized. The numbers, if you don't notice a number, every number, as you've seen in past, every number has a meaning. Otherwise, why should I know the number? What's 12 comes for? What's 12 comes for? Nature is made of 12. Everything in this world is made of 12. Structured of 12. Even, and these 12 are divided. If you look carefully, like the year. The year is made of 12 months. And it's made also of 4 seasons. Why 4 seasons? There are 4 letters in the name of God. Yud, K, Vav, K. And what do they stand for? 4 elements. Fire, water, air, and earth. Each one of them has to be divided into 3 forces, right, left, center. Everything. You know, electricity, you have 3. If you don't have the plus, the minus, and the filament, no light. No work. Nothing happens. You need all 3, and we learned a human being must have all 3 functioning all together in order to achieve anything of worthy acquirement. Okay? And that's why we have Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So, again, let's go back to the 12. Because each of the 4 has 3 different manifestations, altogether you have 12. And that's why Abraham, in his book, the Book of Formation, speaks about the 12 fundamental basic forces that the world is based on. And you know what? When science found out that the world is made of atoms, they found about 200 and something atoms. Okay, but then they wanted to know what is that made of, and they found out that these are made of electrons and protons, and they're more and more and more all kinds of different particles, and they call it the zoo. You know, you go to a zoo, you see all kinds of like weird stuff, like what is that? But the zoo is just a showcase to show you how sophisticated it is world, how colorful, and each one of them, as we said before, has a job. But as a scientist, we're moving forward. They said, and that's something that is also very important to know in science, that if you want to know how something is structured, if the answer is complicated, it cannot be the true answer, because the universe must be simple. So they said there's a few hundred particles. That's a zoo of particles. It looks like so disorganized. We're not watching the right picture. So they went deeper. And towards 1984, they found out that it's not made of few hundred of particles. It's all made of 12 particles. Abraham divided those 12 to 6 plus and 6 minus. And he divided each 6 to upper triangle and lower triangle. What's upper triangle and lower triangle? That's the Star of David. One female, one male, one plus, one minus. It says in the Zohar, if those in the upwards are 6, those have to be 6 also. You have in the Shema Israel, Shema Israel, Hashem, Elokeinu, Hashem, Echad, 6. And after that, Baruch, Shem, Kvod, Malchuto, Leolam Vaed, 6. How many together? 12. The Zohar says, if those are 6, those are 6. I'm reading that in the Zohar. I'm reading that in the beginning of 1984. At that time, they found 6 particles, quarks, and they found only 5 leptons. One was missing, but I'm reading the Zohar. There must be one more. If those are 6, those have to be 6 over. 84, they found the 6th one. Altogether, how many? 12. How do they divide? 2, 6 plus, 6 minus. 1, and they're always going triplets. The upper triangle and the lower triangle. Wow. Wherever you look, the same rules apply. All of them encoded in the Torah. So now, when you say that Ishmael has 12 sons, you understand immediately that Ishmael symbolizes. We're not talking about nationality. We're not talking about history. We're not talking about rivalry. We're talking about in this universe, there's a system that Ishmael stands for. And it has a complete structure of 12 different parts. And from Esau, we're going to read in Parashat Vayishlach, he has 12 generals. That's also a complete system. And from Jacob come out 12 tribes, which is another complete system of 12. You have 3 systems. Where is Ishmael coming from? From Abraham. Isaac, and Esau is coming from Isaac. And Jacob, from him come out the 12. So if he said that Abraham is the right color, the energy of grace, giving, loving, and sharing. So from him stems out 12 parts of Ishmael, which is only what? The energy of chesed, giving, caring, and honor, grace. From Isaac come out directly Esau, and from him the 12, as we said, generals. That's another system. This is the system of Gvura, judgment, fire, fights, taking over, creativity. The Western world is about what? Creativity. You have to create all the time. You don't create, you die. But you need a system in between that will balance the 2 systems. And that's Jacob. From Jacob come out, again, 12 tribes. Now, if you notice that something very weird, today, like the border between the Ishmael world and the Esau world, you have in the Middle East, you have Israel, and you have in Israel, just on the border between the 2 civilizations. Not just this, half of the Jews in Israel are from Ishmael countries and half from Esau countries. Like, isn't that? And what's the Middle East? The south is always grace and love and chesed, water. The north is fire, judgment, right? And the east is a center of calms. It's all the Middle East. Everything is structured. Now you have a whole system. And this system has to learn to function in balance. Is it functioning in balance right now? Oh no. Oh no. Why? Because we don't understand how to make it function. Because we do not understand the codes in this parasha. Okay. So, after reading that from the Zohar about that stuff, we have to understand something. V'ineh omer gimel chalukim. So Rabbi Ashlag, he says, the Zohar is giving us also over here 3 different categories. 1, Jacob was the existence of above and below. Okay? We learned about it last week. we learn that Sarah and Abraham, when we say Vayu Chaye Sarah, Shnei Chaye Sarah, when the life of Sarah were 100 years, 20 years, 7 years, Shnei Chaye Sarah, in simple Hebrew, Shnei Chaye means the two life of Sarah. What means the two life of Sarah? So we said she lived in both worlds. She lived in the spiritual upper world and she lived in the physical mundane world. And she learned how to live in both worlds at once. Okay? From here we learn from the Zohar that Jacob, was also able to live above and below both times. He was, on one hand, you read the stories later on, he was fighting always with Esau, his brother, that wanted to kill him, was upset about him. He's cheating him. It's like there's always a fight since the pregnancy. Okay? Then he goes to Lavan, next parashot, he's fighting all over again. Lavan, his uncle, the brother of his mother, the safe place. He thought he ran out of the fire. No, he ran out from the pan into the fire, right? Lavan was a cheat and a liar, and he had to fight for 21 years. When he came out of Lavan, that was a miracle. A real miracle, right? What's happening over here? Now we learn also that Yitzchak, Rak lemala b'kedusha aliyana, Yitzchak was just above in the holiness. He had nothing in the physical world. Why? When Yitzchak was brought as an offering, he trusted his father. He thought that he has to be killed, so he took off. He didn't wait for the slaughter. He said, okay, if I have to go to heaven, I'm going to heaven. Okay, bye. And then the angel comes and says to his father, don't touch the lad. And Yitzchak is already like, he's up there. What? Coming back now? Are you kidding? Back to what? Eating food, living in a body. It's like, what are you talking about? It took him 3 years, says the Midrash, to get used to living again in a physical body. And he still didn't get used to it. So when it says that his eyes were, everything for him was blind. He mostly didn't live over here. He lived up there. He never came really back. He lived here just to get by. But he was there in the upper world. But Ishmael was only below in the physical world. So what we learn is that you have Ishmael, you have Esau, and you have Jacob. And they symbolize something that is very important. They symbolize each one of us. Each one of us has an Ishmael, has an Esau, and has a Jacob. Each one of us has that part that wants to be graceful and kind and full of honor and respect. And you want to do it, but you know what? You do it just because you want everybody to love you. You want to be nice. That's called what? The evil inclination. Every human being has that part. And when you're talking about Esau, the red one, he's also the other side of our evil inclination, because he's also down below. That's the part that wants always to get more and to get more and to achieve more and to have it all for myself. Both are selfish. But you know, usually we talk about being selfish as a terrible thing. So you want to get more money and more power and more gain and more objects and more stuff and more control and more power and more gain. That's very Esavic. That's very the red part of us. It's a whole complete system. However, by itself, it's incomplete. Why? As we know, you can never meet a selfish, happy person. We spoke about it last person. You cannot meet a happy, selfish person. But there's two kinds of selfish. There is a selfish that is, the egotistic, and I'm here, and me, and me, and me, and me. But there's another kind of selfish. You read a lot in Dickens, for instance, about it, about all these people. Oh, we're here just to give. We're here just to share. We're here just to do grace, to do charity here and there and so on. It's all, but if you get to know the person, it's all about himself. It's all hypocrite. He just doing himself a PR. You know. Look about, the Soviet Union. They were the evil empire, but they presented themselves like, we just do charity, equality to all workers, we're so righteous. Stalin, one of the greatest murderers in the history of mankind, they always presented him as like he loves kids and he loves people and he loves the workers, and he's just being grace. Wherever he comes, he shines on people, and they just do everything so graceful, and we just Mashiach. He's the Messiah. Always, but it was always what? On the outside. It was very, very, that was right column, sharing and kindness. But what happens when you share and you're kind and you just, and the sage says, what about this person? So he comes to the rabbi and he says, Rabbi, it says whoever runs away from honor, honor runs after him. But I always run away from honor. I always do good for others. And there's no honor. People don't respect me. And the rabbi says, when you're running away from honor and from respect, don't you look backwards all the time to see if it's already coming? Which means you're running after it, but you're still focusing on what? On honor and respect. So on the outside you look like, but from the inside, you're a hypocrite. On the outside, it looks like I'm only doing good. How do you know? Says the Talmud, very simple. Come to a person like this and insult him. He'll explode. He won't have any control. He will all be emotional about it. Either he will be angry about you, he'll hate you forever. He'll feel depleted and miserable and so on. That's why when it says love others as you love yourself, how does it go? I am God. Don't do it for your brother to give to you back. Don't do it so you want other people to respect you. If you do that, you transgressed the first, the deal. It's called the 2 tablets. What says the first one? I am the God, your Lord, that took you out of Egypt from the house of slavery. The moment I'm expecting people to appreciate me for what I've done, I'm a slave. They're a slave. I'm their slave. Because my inner well-being is dependent on them. They decide. If they smile at me, if they appreciate me, if they send me a WhatsApp, oh, I enjoyed so much what you've done for me and thank you so much, with a smiley, whatever. If you need that to be happy, you're a slave. And the Torah says, you should not have another God in front of me. That's number 2 on the tablets. You just transgress the first 2, which means you're not in. You're not in the system. You cannot use the program of the Torah because you transgress the first 2 most important rules. Why? Because if you're a slave is exempt of the Torah. Why? How can you connect to the Torah when you are a slave? The Torah is about freedom. And what is freedom? When you give because that's how you connect to the Creator. When you connect to the Creator, your connection is your reward. You don't need more than that. So what if the other person was not grateful? What if the other person did not even notice you helped him so much? What if the other person is so inside himself, he didn't even realize you saved his life? What should be your reaction? I didn't do it for him, I did it for God. I did it to connect to God. That's the way I connect to God. In that moment, you are so independent. On the other hand, you go around and you want to have this and this and this and this, and you know what? You walk and you walk and you walk and you walk, and then somebody comes, and after you build with him a contract for 2 months, he backs off. Oh, this is the end of it. You can kill him. But if you are not a slave, you know, I put the effort. I made the effort. I didn't do it for him. I did it because it says in the Torah that I have to make the effort. God will do the rest. You do your best, and God will do the rest. Remember that. And if you know I did my best, you cannot control me. The other guy cannot control me, so he backs off from the deal. Okay, I made a deal. You know how many times, you know, you make a deal, it's ready, the guy backs off. So, okay, I have the deal ready. 2 weeks, 2 days, 2 hours, 2 years later, somebody comes, he wants a deal. Oh, I have it ready already. Just change the names. You know, some other little details. It was not for nothing. Never. But if you are so addicted to your desire to share, so you want people to appreciate you, desire to receive, so you want people to fear of you, or to appreciate you for your being so rich and powerful, you're addicted either to the right column or to the left column. It looks like a complete system. But they need a central column to get balanced. And this is Jacob. You have to do it in both universes, in the spiritual and the physical simultaneously. Like they are not parallel, they complete each other. Without that, whatever you do, it's going to be a body without a soul. Could be very great intentions, but with no actions. It's a soul without a body. No manifestation. You have to live in both universes. That's the message of the Torah, of the whole book of Genesis. Now, but how are you going to do that? Before the sin of Adam, says the Zohar, before the sin of Adam, that was much easier. But we committed the sin. And what happened after we committed the sin? The snake took over. He now has the birthright. Because the moment we ate from the tree of knowledge, it became the tree of knowledge, good and evil. So whatever good you do in the realm of the tree of knowledge, says the Zohar, this is the tree of death. Because it's all about high and by, gain and loss, gain and loss. You got it, it's not there anymore. So your life will look like manic depressive. You gain and you lose, you gain and you lose, and then you become so anxious, full of fear whenever you have something that soon you're going to lose it. And you know what? You're going to lose it. You're going to lose it. Because that's what happens when you're just in the physical realm. And that's why God said to Adam, the day you'll eat from that tree, you'll die. You'll start dying. Every time we get up in the morning and then we die a serial death during the whole day. We get disappointed from this one. We get upset about that one. We gave so much to that one. He never said thank you. So now we're upset. Now we feel depleted. Now we blame. Now we complain. All of that stuff. That's worshiping the devil. Death. That's when you're dealing only with the physical, elusive reality. It has no Toldot. What's Toldot? It's not just offsprings. Toldot is fruits. Continuation. There's no continuity. So you start feeling that everything you do, why should I bother? Anyway, it's going to be taken away from me. And another thing. So, who is in control in this realm in our day and age since the sin of Adam? That's the forces of, these are the forces of the fake success, hypocrisy, cheating and lying. Who is in control after the sin of Adam? The snake. He has the birthright. When you see a big company being generated, a big state being created, who comes to the top usually? The snake. The snake. Selfish people with huge egos that go this way or another way. Either they take the Ishmael side, we're like, we're here to give with everybody, just exploit everyone else. Okay, oh, we're here to make everything grow and be successful, but it's all about Again, me and me and me and physical and physical and elusive and elusive. Both cannot exist without the central column that is not just central column between right and left, between giving and sharing. It's also the central column between the upper world and the physical world. Rivka, she knows that. And she knows also who is Jacob. And she knows another thing. She knows that Isaac knows that too. And he's giving the birthright to Esau because he knows that in this world, Esau reigns supreme. Why is that important? Because a lot of great, good people, talented, educated, learned, nice people, they mess up their lives because they're so aggravated. Why is it that the wrong people, they take control over everything? So you know what happens? When you're aggravated, when you're complaining, when you're upset, you're wasting a lot of energy. You're starting to say, that person has got the job he's not supposed to get. That person, he just took the job that was wrong. And the answer is, that's how this world works. You're looking for justice? We're not here to be right. There's no mitzvah in the Torah to be right. What we have to do is to be the light, is to bring light wherever it's dark, to bring a completion wherever it's broken. That's our job, each one of us. And to understand that we have to be patient, we have to understand that in this world, who comes first, the body or the soul? The body. In this world, our world, the body is always first. If you don't feed the body and he dies, the soul has no place. Who's born first? The body or the soul? The body. When a baby is there, he's selfish, he's stupid, and he wants it now, and he wants it for himself, and he cares about no one. There's no place for anyone in his life. Only after 3 years old, you start educating them that you're not alone in this world. Only after bar mitzvah or bat mitzvah, you start to train them that if you are selfish, you're killing yourself. And you have to destroy the selfishness and exchange it by caring and sharing for the one purpose, which is not to show off. Not you doing it because you want God to give you more materialistic assets. You're caring and you're sharing because that's how you connect to the force of life in this universe. When you connect to the force of life, what do you get? Money? Not necessary. There are a lot of righteous people that are not so rich. There are a lot of righteous people very rich. Health? You have no idea. You have no idea, but you have one idea. When you're connected to the light of God, you're connected to the light of God. And it doesn't matter what other people say about you. There are many people that are so righteous, they are so pure, they're so clean, they're so complete. And nobody around them appreciates that. Not everybody is standing now in line, tell me what to do with my life. No. You know, they don't even want it. Why is it like this? On the other hand, you see the neighbor. The guy is a cheat and a liar. Everybody, there's a pilgrimage to that person. Everybody wants his advice. Everybody pays him for that advice. Where's justice? What is this portion of the Torah is telling us? You want results in your life? Don't look for justice. In our world, there's no justice. Not on the outside. But justice is when a person is really spiritual and righteous. When a person is really doing the job and he's balancing between his right column and left column, and he knows how to live a double life. He does his best on the physical world and he does his best on the spiritual world. He has a complete life. Who knows? He knows. And that's enough. You don't need other people to acknowledge you, because when you need other people to acknowledge you, you're in trouble. You're addicted. You're not in the realm of doing the job. When you have that need, Yeah, but everybody, yeah, till you are, as long as you're a kid, you need. Oh, what a tzaddik, what a righteous child, what this, and you're so good. You need that when you're in the beginning, first stages. But look, how old are you? You still need that feedback all the time. The people will give you awards and stuff like this. It's like you're not moving on. You're in the same place. You're going backwards. You already have to be connected to the light of the Creator on your own merit, not because somebody said so. You should have an independent connection. Not because of the rabbi. Oh, I have a rabbi, he's so righteous, he's so holy, like thanks to him I'm connected. It says in the Talmud, Kol hamitpalel macharei rabo chayav mita. If you pray behind your rabbi, what do you mean behind your rabbi? Through your rabbi. He's going to connect me to holiness. You're dead. Because achoraim, the backwards of someone, that's death. You have to connect directly to the endless, not through anyone. Oh, you can get a help from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, from your teacher, from your rabbi, from whoever, from the Zohar. But they give you the support so you make your own independent connection. When you have that connection, you're alive. You're victorious. So, but everybody knows it's so difficult. Companies, families. How many times there's a boy or the girl that they really do the job holding the family together and the parents don't really appreciate it. They appreciate the ones who scream blood and people like frustrated. How come there's no justice? Why they don't know who I am? Did Isaac really know? We said he never thought that Esau is going to continue the lineage. He knows Esau, he's the left column. He's going to have 12 lords of war. That's who he is. He's going to be the lord of everything. He gave him that blessing. But he didn't know one thing, that Jacob had to steal that. Because that's to show us. Yeah, I'm in a company, there's no justice, blah, 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 blah. You have to outsmart them. You have to be smarter than that. You have to trust the Creator. Do your best. The Creator will do the rest. And you will find a way that although, if you just like, there's no justice, so I have an excuse not to do anything. It's not an excuse. How many people, although the world is not the world of truth, this is the world of lies, still those people shined forever by creating a reality full of so much grace. Did that happen? So many times. Why? Because when they put the energy in creating that power of balancing between giving and sharing the upper world and this world, and that was the focus. And that's why when Isaac knows this is Esau, but when he realizes that this is Jacob, he's kind of content. I blessed him, and he's going to be blessed. He said, wow, good for him. Good for him. Because that set the road. Why Rivka didn't speak with Isaac before? He didn't have ego. He was in the upper world just like, Isaac, don't you see? The guy's mean. He belongs to the evil axis. The guy's terrible. He's a murderer. He's a cheat. He's a hunter. He's bloody. Isaac would have told him, but you know, that's the rule. The snake is in control. And you know what is Mashiach? When you overcome the snake. We didn't overcome the snake yet. Because Mashiach in numerical value, 358. Snake, 358. It's not there yet. We're not there yet. We're just giving our children and next generations the tools to do it on their own. We cannot do it for them. Still, he did not realize how terrible Esau is, so he can give the blessing. When does he realize? And again, with the grace of Isaac, he did not see the whole truth. What about us? We don't see the whole truth, because if we see the whole truth, there's no work. There are no doubts. There are no fears, no anxieties to overcome. There's no darkness to turn into light. There's no bitterness to turn into sweet. Our job is not to complain. is to do the job in spite that we have all the excuses in the world to complain. Our job is not to mourn, because our job is to know that whatever happens, we are not here to be God's accountants. We're here to do what? You get the project, and as a professional, you just do it. What is the project? Whatever you face during the day, that's your project. So if you're complaining, what are you doing at that moment? Oh God, you created the world in the wrong way. Maybe you go back to the drawing board and you change the Torah. You know how many people say you should change the Torah? It should be, 3,000-4,000 years later. Now you say the Torah was before the world was created. Wow, that's billions of years. Don't think it's time to change it? No, you don't change the Torah. You do not change the Torah. It's easier to change your outlook at things. And the Torah is telling you, instead of blaming the Torah, or blaming God, or blaming the evil people, the injustice and whatever, instead of being in remorse about stuff that you've done, maybe I did it wrong, Esau took over the snake. What's the use? Look forward. This is your project. Do it. Simply do it. You messed up? Get up. Do it again. Till you do it right. Don't complain. Don't mourn. Don't be upset. You're wasting your time. Sooner or later you have to do it. You know what they say? If end is well, all is well. But what if the end is not well? It means it's not the end. It means you'll have to do it all over again. And again. Till finally you're going to do it right. And that's what Jacob is about. If you have to go under, to dress up as Esau, to take upon yourself different identities just because this world is so sophisticated and so complicated. And you have to understand, you look at this world and you realize every creature, every phenomena has its place in the whole. Only when you reach Mashiach times, you realize that everything was in its place. Why waiting for Mashiach? Why wasting time on being frustrated, upset, and hateful, and disdain? Why? Why not doing it now? Why not realizing the blessings are yours? You just have to do your best. You have to use your right column, your left column, and then when you do that, you bring, as the Zohar says, you bring everything into harmony. And you know what? When you do that, everything around you will start to come into place. And then the West will not fight the East. And the North won't fight the South. And the rich won't fight the poor, and the poor won't fight the rich, because everybody will realize how they complement each other. And how the upper worlds complement the lower, and the lower complements the upper. This is what this parasha is about. So, get to work. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Shavua Tov, and lots of success.